Hi, this is Dr. Sadish once again for you. Let us start with the next chapter, that is linear equations in two variables. You will be getting around 6 marks as per the syllabus. 6 marks will be allotted for this particular topic in mathematics, and it's very easy to square 6 marks, just like what we have seen in the previous topic of coordinate geometry. Okay. First of all, what do you mean by linear equation? Okay, linear equation can be represented like this in two variables. So let's say x and y are your two variables. X and y are your two variables. Variable means they can have any value. Okay. So the expression, the linear equation, is in the form of ax plus by plus c equal to 0. This is the linear equation in two variables. These are the two variables, x and y, which can have any value. Okay. And the linear equation, nothing but which is a straight line. If you draw it on a graph, it becomes a straight line. Okay. Straight line. Okay. So here, any linear equation can be written in the form of two variables like this: ax plus by plus c, where a is the coefficient of x, b is the coefficient of y, and c is nothing but your constant. Only one important consideration you need to remember is this a square plus b square should never be equal to 0. The condition is that a square plus b square should never be equal to 0. Means a and b are always real numbers. They are always real numbers. They are always real numbers. Okay. C is nothing but your constant. It can have any value. It's a constant, doesn't depend. Okay. X and y are two variables. This is the linear equation. It's nothing but a straight line. If you draw it on a graph sheet, you'll be getting a straight line. There's two variables, x and y. The a is nothing but the coefficient of x, which is always real. B is another coefficient of b, y, and it's always real. C is a constant. So ax plus by plus c equal to 0 is the linear equation in two variables. Okay. And then the condition is that when you're talking about linear equation two variables, the condition is that this a square plus b square should never be equal to 0. That is the only condition you need to remember. Okay. Now, you might have already seen in the you might have already studied in 9th standard. Okay, graph, drawing a graph, a linear graph. The equation is given to you. When you draw it, it becomes a straight line. It's nothing but a linear equation. Okay. Now, in that linear equation, we have, suppose there are two pair of lines, a pair of simultaneous equations, simultaneous linear equations. It means, what do you mean by a pair? Pair means two lines. You can say two straight lines. Two straight lines. Okay. When you have a pair of simultaneous linear equations like this, suppose a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0. This is one equation. The other one is a2x plus b2y plus c2 equal to 0. This is another simultaneous equation. There are these are two equations, and if you draw these equations, they are nothing but two straight lines. Okay. So these two straight lines, suppose say this is one straight line, and the other one is this one. AB is one straight line, this one, and CD is another straight line, this one. Okay. These two lines can be either parallel like this, A, B, C, D, or they can intersect like this, either A, B, C, D at some point O, say. Okay. Or they can be on the same line. This is AB, coincident. I'm just drawing it in form of dots. Okay. Coincident. So we can have two straight lines, either coincident, lying on the one on the other, or they can intersect. They are called as intersecting lines. The other one is they can be parallel. Okay. They can be parallel. So what we have studied till now is we defined a linear equation two variables as ax plus by plus c equal to 0. There are two variables, x and y are your variables, okay? A is nothing but the coefficient of x, b is the coefficient of y, and c is a constant. A and b are always real numbers, okay? And the condition is that in order this equation to be a linear equation in two variables, a square plus b square should never be equal to 0. This is the condition, first condition, okay? Then I'm just talking about a graph where there are two lines, two linear equations like a1x plus b1y plus c1 equal to 0, a2x plus b2y plus c2 equal to 0. These are the two equations and they are nothing but two straight lines. These two straight lines can be either in parallel, can they intersect, or they can be on the same, isn't it, like coincident. So they are called as parallel lines, intersecting lines, or coincident lines. Okay, I think hope you have understood up to this point. Okay, now you say the solution of a linear equation. What do you mean by solution of a linear equation? I call it as LQ. Solution of a linear equation means finding out the value of x and y which satisfy the equation ax plus by equal to plus c equal to 0. Solution of a linear equation means finding out the values of x and y such that when these values, after finding it out using some methodology which we will be talking about, keeping these values in this equation ax plus by equal to c plus c equal to 0, if it satisfies, you keep the value of x, keep the value of y, you know already a, b, c. If they are added like this, if it's 0, then the values of x and y are the solutions of this particular equation. We call it as a solution. Solution of a linear equation means finding out the values of the two variables x and y. Am I clear? Right? Now, there are two different types of systems in graph methodology. We're talking about a graph method, okay? One is, just write it here. In graph methodology of finding out the solution of a linear equation, okay? Two methods, two systems are there. One is a consistent system, Other one is inconsistent system. We have two systems. One is consistent system, other one is inconsistent system. Okay? Now, a consistent system always have at least one solution. I already told what do you mean by solution. At least one solution means having a value of x and y. Whereas inconsistent system does not have any solution. That means there is an equation but it does not have any solution. That means the value of x and y do not any solution. Just let me write down. What does it mean? It means that no solution means x value, there is no x value and y value which satisfies this equation. It satisfies this equation ax plus by plus c equal to 0. Okay? Right? So, in consistent we have at least one solution. In inconsistent there is no solution. Okay? And now, once again in consistent we have two different types of systems. One is independent system. Other one is dependent system. What do you mean by independent system? Independent system, it has only one solution. It has one solution. That means only one particular value of x and y satisfies this equation. Ax plus by plus c equal to 0. Whereas a dependent system has infinity number of solutions. Infinite number of solutions. Okay. So what we taught today and what you are listening now is, we are talking about linear equations in two variables. That means those variables are x and y. The equation is in the form of ax plus by plus c equal to 0, where a and b are the coefficients of x and y, c is a constant, and a and b are always real numbers. Okay. And then the condition is that a square plus b square should never be equal to 0. This is the condition for an equation to be a linear equation, two variables. Okay. And then how do you find out this? What do you mean by solution of a linear equation? Finding out the values of x and y such that they satisfy this equation ax plus by plus c equal to 0. That means after finding out the value of x and y through some methodology, either from graphical method or any other simultaneous equation method, you
find out the value of x and y, substitute here, it gets satisfied. Okay. So we have a graphical method where if you have a pair of simultaneous linear equations like a1x plus b1y plus c1 equal to 0, a2x plus b2y plus c2 equal to 0. Here, you remember that the condition is that once again is a1 square plus b1 square should never be equal to 0. Similarly, a2 square plus b2 square should never be equal to 0. Okay. So these two are two straight lines, and these straight lines can be either parallel like this, or they can intersect like this, or they can be coincident. Okay. So when we are coming to the graphical method of finding out the solution of these linear equations in two variables, we have two different types of systems. One is a consistent system, other one is inconsistent. Consistent system means we have consistent system means it has at least one solution, whereas inconsistent does not have any solution. That means there is no value of x and y which satisfies the simultaneous equation ax plus by plus c equal to 0. Similarly, consistent means it has at least one solution. There may be number of solutions, at least one. Okay. Consistent system is once again divided into independent system and dependent system. Independent system means only one solution. That means there is only one value of x, one value of y which satisfies the equation ax plus by plus c equal to 0. The other one is a dependent system which has infinite n number of solutions, like n number of x values, n number of y values, which satisfies the equation ax plus by plus c equal to 0. This is what we have studied and learned so far. Okay, we have started with the linear equations of two variables, which comprise of 6 marks. Okay, it's very easy. I just teach you small step by step how to understand the problem and how to solve it using graphical method and also the conventional method of simultaneous equations. Okay, finding out the solution means finding out the value of x and y. This is what you need to remember. Thank you so much.